Hi, Facebook. Welcome to day 6 of my 30-day self-improvement challenge. Today I'm quitting Facebook, which is a little ironic. That took me a little bit to figure out how I'm going to do that because I do use it for important things, but I also waste a lot of time on it. So that one's been a real challenge to figure out, and I think I've got it. But first, let me do a little check-in. Yesterday I quit Netflix, and so I stayed up really late watching like the crappiest crap on YouTube. Again, it's just this little fiend running around inside of me, and it's oh man, it's such an interesting internal battle and journey. I like witnessing what's going on in me. Like I feel like I'm getting stronger and stronger, but I also feel like the struggle is getting bigger and bigger as well. So it doesn't seem like it's getting harder or easier. It's just something else. It's something else. So yesterday, I stayed up really late watching crap, and today I drove up a mountain with a couple of people, and we did a ceremony on the top of this mountain. It's for the people, for the natives here. It's kind of a bit of part of their creation story, and it's a really special place, and we had about 20-25 people there, sitting in circle. We did smudge, we had a fire, we passed the feather around, and it's so funny. It sounds like quite a stereotype, but when you're in that thing, it's a very holistic way to connect with people. I just held hands with a whole bunch of strangers, and we, first person to speak, he said, we're all family now. When people hold hands in a circle, you become family, and I really felt that, and it was really uplifting. And it's stuff like that I need to be around more of, because as I detox, I need to be around people who are living that way, or else I start to feel disconnected, dysfunctional. Like, oh, I want to fit in. Like today is St. Patrick's Day. So there's a lot of drinking, and I had options to go south or to go north, and I didn't go either way. I'm staying home today to do this video and chill out and write some letters, and it's funny, a part of me is not really missing it. I'm feeling really good about being at home. So but like I say, this fiend is traveling around in me, and it's funny, as you move out of addiction, there's two things that happen. The physiology of your body starts to change, and as you replenish your dopamine system and stop moving right towards instant gratification, you start to clear up and clean up. But the other side of it is that usually addiction is a coping mechanism for some kind of pain or some kind of something wrong, something that's hurting. And when people don't have good coping mechanisms, because none of us have really been taught these good coping mechanisms, we go towards addiction. And addiction is literally the best thing that you can do for yourself, given the options that you're aware of. So I'm noticing that as I'm cleaning up, I'm getting more confident, but I'm also getting stuff is bubbling up, deeper things, longer things that I have been able to ignore or put off. Like, for example, one of the things that has been really challenging for me in my life is I'm not really into this whole city-state technological development, resource extraction, progress at any cost. It's been very I've never been able to live with it, and I don't know how to live with it, and I have tried all these different ways of compromising myself to be a part of the group, because this is what all of us are doing. This group is playing this game, and to me personally, and to other people that I have met at festivals and in indigenous communities, which is why I spend so much time at festivals and with indigenous communities, is that to them this is kind of just a giant trend, and it's not sustainable. And even if Elon Musk can get on a rocket and go to Mars, that, to me, exploration through resource extraction and technology is one way of going, and another way is kind of like E.T. If you ever watched the movie E.T., that was a biologist, that alien, and he was coming down to Earth to check out plants because he was increasing his biodiversity of his planet, and I'm into biodiversity. I would much rather sit in a loincloth and know all these different herbs and trip out on psychedelics that I find in the forest, and raise my children and have them always around me, and not work for somebody else but work for the tribe that I'm living with. That does and always will appeal to me, and I do believe that that is not in the past, that this is not evolution that we're going through and getting to this technological point, that at some point we lost a very important part of ourselves. So that's been in me, and that's a belief, and if it's a false belief, it's one that's very strong in me, so I either need to change that belief or I need to learn how to live my life in harmony with it. And I believe that's one of the things that's coming up for me, and one of the reasons that I've used a lot of addiction and distraction is to avoid dealing with that issue. So today, Facebook, I've decided to figure out how to deal with Facebook, because I have to go on it, but I don't want to be distracted with. This is what I'm going to do. I already do push-ups every day, but what I've decided to do is, even though I'm using Facebook to do work, every minute that I'm on Facebook, I have to do a push-up. So at the end of the day, I'll find out how many minutes I was on Facebook, and I'll have to do that many push-ups. Now, here's the catch. If I find myself slipping, if for a moment I go to the main thing and I just start scrolling and I catch myself, oh, you've unconsciously started using Facebook wrong, then whatever amount of push-ups I have to do that day, I double it. So the incentive, a small incentive push-up for every minute, keeps my time down on it. But if I do slip and use it inappropriately, now I've doubled. Now that's a corrective thing I'm gonna have to do. Instead of 10 push-ups, I'm gonna have to do 20, or instead of 20, I'm gonna have to do 40. So that's I feel good about that. I feel good about being able to use Facebook, and that'll keep me responsible. And I've so like I say, as the month goes on, I have a whole bunch more things that I need to do. So I still haven't gotten started on that leather pouch, but I would like to go and do that. I have to start a conversation about tinctures with some people, so I can get into that. I've been doing the Wim Hof breathing, and it's going pretty good. I have to do it today still. When I quit weed, I was going to start a company, and so I've made some moves on that. This is something I've been interested in doing for a long time. It's called a private service agreement and establishment of value process. What I plan on doing is just like a Subway or any place that has a gift card, and you buy $100 worth of that product, and then you use the card at that store. I'm going to create something similar. So I'm going to have a brochure of all the things that I like to offer, services I like to provide for people. And then I'm going to offer them a promissory note in exchange for cash. So they are going to buy $100 worth of labor or music lessons or dance lessons or talking or event hosting, whatever it is. They're going to buy $100 worth of that, and it's going to have an expiry date, 3 or 6 months or something like that. And then when they want to use my services, they book an appointment. I go and do the work. We sign off on that promissory note, and then I have it back, and they give me a review, and then I keep that review. So why I'm doing this complicated system is that the next time that I go to work with them, or the next time I go to work with someone else, I have this promissory note that documents the fact that I've sold this to them. They've paid money for it, then they've redeemed it, and I was worth. And then the review showed, yeah, this guy was worth what I paid, so that's good. And the reason I want to do that is because I want to start creating a currency that's outside of the current currency, that builds value and trust and keeps wealth and value inside of its membership. So anyone else would be able to do this too, and eventually I might have a promissory note that has, I see Destiny you're watching, so this promissory note might have 10 signatures on it of me and Destiny exchanging. So this value, like anyone who knows Destiny will go like, holy smokes, this obviously is worth something, because it's worth something to her. She's, likewise, if I had 10 different signatures on it, I've traded this bill 10 times, this promissory note 10 times to 10 different people, then it becomes a trustworthy document. And that's basically how money is generated in this country anyway. The bank doesn't loan you money when you take out a mortgage. You have created a piece of paper that you back with your word that you're going to put value back into it. So that document, that contract that you've made with the bank is the actual money. And then the money we use is kind of like the fake money that says, okay, that yeah, you have this, so then you can redeem that value later on with this other stuff. I'm getting complicated and off topic, but that's the company system that I want to do. That's how I'm going to be able to be my own employer and do things on my terms. That's how I'm going to be able to control the value of my work and make and have reviews and a resume, basically. So this is going to be the thing that I'm really jacked up about, and I'm going to get started on it in the next couple of weeks here. I'm going to go and find a printer place that can do the business cards and all that. So that's my company. That's my step forward on the company stuff. And oh, here's the other thing with Facebook. I'm rambling a bit, but the other thing I'm going to do with Facebook is I've already noticed in the last couple of days that I have nothing to do right now. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm bored or whatever. I've been playing music, and that's been really a good kicker. I've been playing my saxophone and guitar, and that's great. But what I've decided to do is I'm going to, when I feel like I really need to connect with somebody, which is one of the reasons I go onto Facebook, is like, who's online? What are they saying? Excuse me. I've decided when I get that urge, I'm going to randomly call somebody. So probably maybe someone, I'll start off with a group of people in here, and I'm just going to randomly call someone and talk to them, because it's so funny that we have these phones and we're so available to talk to each other, and we just don't. So I'm going to start randomly calling people when that urge comes up. And to make it fun, I'm not just going to call them up and have a regular conversation. I'm gonna try and create a game to play over the phone on the spot, because I used to really play a lot of great games and create a lot of games in school at lunchtime. So I want to re-spark my creativity and sense of fun and find pleasure in alternative things than TV and things like that. So I'm gonna start this game of calling people when I feel that urge, and play games with them over the phone, okay, tell me the first thing that comes to your head when I say, or whatever. So that's my habit. Those are my two habits for quitting Facebook, is the push-ups and the calling game. Anything else? That's basically it for today. I'm feeling really tired. My body's going through a lot of process. But talking with this group of people on the mountain today was really nice, and I'm going to a sweat lodge tomorrow, which I could talk about after that. But basically, it's a form of ceremony where you're doing a lot of praying and a lot of sweating, and I've always found them really beneficial. So stay tuned for that. Thanks very much for watching. I feel really supported by everyone out who's watching these videos, and I'm getting a lot of good feedback, so I really appreciate that, because I wasn't sure what this was going to be like, and I'm feeling really good about it. And like I said, it's going to keep getting crazier. Tomorrow is procrastination. I'm not exactly sure how to quit procrastination, but we'll talk about it when we get there. And after that, it's YouTube and then swearing. So there's some interesting stuff coming up. Again, thanks for watching. Have a good night. See you tomorrow.